This episode is brought to you from By Vice Candles, a luxurious candle experience like no other. Our premium 80-hour burn soy candles are guaranteed to transport you into another space as soon as you light them. We can be found at www.vicebyvice.com. It's a premium experience for your lifestyle.
Yeah, we in the building. 4 times dope. Yeah, we known to get it live, man. 4 times dope. New level, keep it high, yeah. 4 times dope. Mic check, now we on it, we live.
Gucci, man.
We
Happy
good
420.
What judge?
You about to be a judge. What do you think? They should prohibit weed? I think they should make it legal.
I mean, I think it just depends on what happens on the federal level, right? States are trying
Right.
to do it, but I don't know where the federal government is going to really go on that. And as a disclaimer, no, I'm not a judge.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right.
You're the closest thing to a judge then amongst all five of us.
Yeah, right.
The closest thing to a judge.
That part.
Yeah, so.
Exactly. So what everybody been up to? How everybody's week been?
Good busy, dog. Good damn busy. We are.
How's the
We're back in
transition?
our house, man, and it's
How's
just
it been?
busy. Shit. Hired a new employee. It's just a lot of stuff happening. Getting ready for this council meeting coming up next week. My birthday coming up next week. It's just a lot of stuff
Right.
happening.
Hold on, we said you know it. So you have your other employees, both of them not there no more?
Nah, we had to let Mindy go. We had to let what's the girl name? Jasmine go. So now we just hired a young lady named Chelsea. She starts on Monday.
Okay.
You know, we got to bring her up to speed and then leave the same week. So
Oh, okay. So what's your birthday plans then?
I will be in Greenville, South Carolina. My birthday plans, I went to the Final Four, so I already did it.
That's right. You did. That's right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Everything else is extra. I'm good. P good. I'm good. And Jade's birthday is coming up too, y'all.
Happy early birthday.
Right. Next Monday, right, Jade?
Yep, on Monday, the 25th.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah. So Jermaine, what you been up to, brother?
Same old, man. Grinding, trying to push through this semester. My students are asking for all kinds of extended days. I told you know what, I just broke. And my students know I don't do the whole deadline thing. Like, you guys are university students. Matter of fact, some of y'all working y'all masters. Like, I was like, you know what, whatever. Just whatever. Take another week and do it. And but it is what it is. Almost there. My class is in officially on 25. Give a couple finals,
Mhm.
and then yeah, I got a couple weeks to breathe. So yeah, pressing, man, pushing.
Jermaine, how hard is it to grade a paper? A grade paper?
Great question.
Well, honestly, I have this big system, so it's not really hard. The only thing, the most difficult part about it is it's time consuming. Like, I don't like to, like, I can't grade in my crib. I gotta go either my office or like a Barnes and Noble or something like that. But and the travel time to get there. But I have a system, so I do read the papers, but I don't spend a lot of time. So my part of my system is per page. I'm like, what, 60 seconds per page. Get it in, get it out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I was spoiled when I was a professor at George Mason. I had this guy. He was working on his PhD. He lectured one of my classes, and I just gave him the papers, right? But
Right.
even when I was abroad, when I was lecturing abroad, I had an assistant. But now it doesn't work like that. So it falls on
You gotta
so they
find
get-
your, you gotta find
Yeah.
your PA, bro.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Very good. Miss Jade, how you going? How's your week been going, dear?
My week has been great, busy as usual. I feel like I work 2 jobs at this point between my regular job and the campaign. But you know, it's been busy, but it's been good.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Kwame Dixon, what you, brother?
That's it's been good. I went down to North Carolina, spent time with my folks, and ended up taking my son to the emergency room. But
What old Jay you get into now?
well, I don't know. He couldn't, like, we went to the park, went to Pullman Park, let him go out there and play, run to eat.
Mhm.
And then, everything, the typical thing 2 years do, fall, play around and stuff like that. But then maybe like that night when we went to give him a bath, he kept holding his arm, his wrist area kept, and every time you move it, he was crying and kept holding it. We were like, yo, what's going on? He's like, it hurt. Like, trying to explain the best a 2.5-year-old can do. And we were trying to wait and see, maybe his funny bone or something happened. He just can't really explain what's going on. The same early that morning, he was still complaining and still crying. So we took him to Wake Med, and he went there. Long story short, the doctor was asking the question, and pretty much the doctor raised his hand or his arm above his hand, and then he like, oh yeah, he's fine. And basically, he said he has something called a nursemaid elbow. So it's almost like his elbow was kind of like out of the socket or something, or not in like the place where it's supposed to. And he kind of like popped it back in place.
The doctor did?
Yeah.
What?
All he did just kind of like was raised his his hand or his arm.
He popped it back in place.
And what else? We didn't know what he was doing. We said he was crying. 5 minutes later, he was just running around like moving like nothing ever happened. So I don't know what happened.
Damn, James.
Yeah, gave him a little, a little ibuprofen or something like whatever like that. But outside that, he was cool after that. Thank God it was nothing more serious than what it is. They said it's typical between 2 and 4 years old. So I don't know. One of the times he might have been trying to grab him or something and pull himself, and then maybe I don't know. I still don't know what happened, really, how he got to that point. But yeah, that's what took place this past weekend for me.
Was he like favoring his elbow like any time prior that you remember?
Yeah, he wasn't even grabbing his elbow; he was grabbing his wrist. So I'm thinking like the pain was shot from his wrist down to his elbow. So he
right.
His wrist. We think there's something wrong with his wrist, and then it was his actual elbow. Yeah,
my man got gout like Uncle Jay. Got that gout in the elbow.
It was bad shit going to that hospital. He came back like nothing wrong.
That elbow.
Well, speaking of ailments and things of that nature, what's been going on with me? I just had a colonoscopy this week, and that was not.
Damn, dog.
It was an experience, I'll say that. And the experience was more of the prep for it, all the stuff you have to do prior to the colonoscopy, not eating this, make sure you drink this, take this mixture, take that mixture. It was like a 5-day process, and it was a lot of prep work for the colonoscopy. But I guess my biggest issue for me was more the anxiety of being put to sleep, because I've never been put to sleep before a day in my life. So I had a lot of anxiety about being put to sleep. But what I will say is everything people told me was true. They was like, once they inject that stuff in you, you be out. And I was out. I don't even remember half when I woke up. They said it's over.
I told you. What I tell you.
So it's exactly what it was. But they, like I said, it was an experience. They did find 3 polyps, but they removed them. And so they said they didn't think it was cancerous, but they still have to send it out to a lab just to be sure on the safe side. So with that being said, I would just encourage all of us, 25 and older, Black men and women, please go and get your colonoscopies. It's very, very, very important. So you don't want to mess around with that, because it could be something going on in your body and you only have no clue what's going on.
Man, you hear the reality of how old we are, that what we talk about, like we talk about colonoscopies and stuff like that. Like imagine just talking to somebody like 30 years old. We talking about we getting a colonoscopy next year. Like when he was talking about,
I mean, we talking about it, but it's good for them to know too, because a lot of people I found out in that when I went to that procedure, people don't want to talk about this stuff, especially in our community, Black men and women. They don't think, whatever, but it's very, very important. So,
well, part of it is that you gotta think about it. Shit, when we're little, we bump our heads, we're taught to shake it off, right? And that's just part of the Black culture. Shake it off. Everything is the shake off. You know what I'm saying? So especially
that's why I'm urging people now, people we know, people who listening to us, like, just put the word out. Please, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Certain ages you're supposed to do certain things. Make sure you do it. So moving on.
It warms my heart to hear you saying you were doing that, because my father didn't go do what he was supposed to do, and he had colon cancer. And by the time he went and got it checked, it had spread, and he battled cancer for a few years and passed. Right. And so it is very important, right? In our community, just don't ignore these things. This is why we have medical providers. This is why we have insurance. Just go get it checked out.
Right. That's right, Jay.
Sorry to hear about that.
Right.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Be the hell on.
With further ado, before we get started, I want to make sure our listeners know we have a very, very special guest in the house tonight. She's an NCCU alum. She's also a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Alpha Lambda, NCCU.
Gotta say Alpha Lambda.
All 99.
You gotta say all 99.
Definitely. She is a former supervising attorney for New York City Department of Education, and she is currently the Deputy Chief Director Manager for the District of Columbia Public Schools. So everyone, I want you to give a warm welcome to our guest tonight, Miss Jade Fuller.
I'm so raw.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all welcoming me. I just do want to correct one thing. I'm currently a deputy chief. I was a manager director, and now I'm deputy chief. I don't want people to think like I hold all those different titles at one time.
Oh, okay, I thought I said, I'm sorry, Deputy Chief Director, correct? Okay. Yeah.
So I'm Deputy Chief of Labor Management and Employment Relations for DC Public Schools.
Oh, thank you.
Bet. Good stuff, Jade.
And she'll get into all her good things later. You run her resume down because she has lots of accomplishments, so she'll get into all that stuff later.
Yeah, campaign. She's on the campaign.
Man, yo, NCCU has put out some hellified talent, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we have.
Especially with the ladies kicking all kinds of ass around here in these professional streets.
That's true.
Right about that.
That's right. So I'm glad you said that. Speaking of ladies and women, Black women specifically, especially since we have a Black queen with us tonight, there has been a lot of talk in the last couple of years about, Black women, supporting Black women, and the discrimination of Black women in this country, and most recently with the confirmation of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And so I guess my question is, and I'll throw it to you first, Jade. What are your thoughts? Well, first of all, what does it mean to you, to have Ketanji Brown Jackson, being confirmed? And what do you feel like that means for Black women? And what is your position on how she was treated during the process prior to getting confirmed?
So I think I speak for all of us when I say that it was absolutely just a monumental occasion, because it just means that these glass ceilings just keep being shattered. They keep being broken, right? Right. The ceiling is placed there, it is shattered, and we keep moving forward. We keep doing it. And for me, watching her confirmation hearing, I felt every sigh. I felt every facial expression. Right, that she went through, and literally just I myself felt some anxiety sitting and watching, because with all of her attributes, right, still as a Black woman, she was put to the ultimate test, right? So I think that's the first thing that people saw, and what they also when they were questioning her, and so just the poise and the grace that she exhibited was fantastic, but she didn't have a choice, right?
Right.
Stay poised like that. And so if you look at like Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing, he was able to get indignant, right? Questioned really tough things, accusations and things. She didn't have any accusations against her. None. She questioned as if she did. He was able to be indignant. She could have never been indignant. She had to stay poised in the way that
they were trying to pull it out of her.
They were trying. They were trying to
poke her. They were trying to poke her. Yeah.
They were trying to poke her. And I know that I have experienced that, right? Where in this, even in the legal profession, trying to be poked, where I'm looked at as, so obviously already women, you know what I'm saying? We have a certain bar that we have to raise ourselves up to, but Black women, we have to be like 10 times that in order to prove ourselves. And it's unfortunate that we're still dealing with that now. But from my own experience, I mean, I've had a couple of experiences where I remember one time I was in a hearing, and it wasn't the first day of the hearing, anything like that, but I was objecting because that's what I'm supposed to do, right? Make objections. And my adversary literally at one point, he stopped and said, "Who are you to object?" And I was like, "Who am I?"
I'm a lawyer.
Look, and so I did. I will admit, I banged my hand on the table, so I didn't have the Ketanji voice in that moment. But I was like, I'm the attorney for New York City Department of Education. But I have experienced that at various times throughout my career, where they're looking at you like, what are you doing here?
Right.
doing here being confrontational and adversarial to me? What are you doing questioning what I'm doing as an attorney? But then I've also experienced where I've gotten kind of the backhand compliment. So maybe after an argument or something like that, you know, we're arguing a case or something, and it'll be, oh, you actually did very well. Well, did you not think I was going to do well?
Well, who are you to tell me what I did?
Who are you to tell me? Like, so
I hate that.
Just watching her though, it just gave me such hope, right? And it still inspired me now. Like, here we are, we can still do this. We can still, in the face of that type of adversity, can keep our composure. You know, we still have to prove ourselves more than other genders, more than other races. But you know what, we're going to keep on fighting that fight, and we're going to keep going. So it was just very, very proud moment for me. But I really did feel every sigh and every facial expression.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right. Kwame, what was your thoughts on this? What's your position?
Like I said, it was definitely a proud moment. Of course, you can empathize with that situation, even though, of course, Black, of course, but not like a woman. But you still, like I said, you have mothers, you have sisters, your aunts, and friends, and all else. So it's just like you put those people in those type of positions, and it may not be, you know, the justice of the Supreme Court, but whatever, you know, workforce they're in, or whatever thing that you know that they have to fight 3 times as much as, you know, white, you know, person, or, you know, white male or female, whatever. So it's kind of like you see, here we go again. We have this overqualified person, who the probably most qualified person ever to even get the opportunity to do this, and then she has the people's questioning her, and then you get the same people who's objecting her confirmation is talking about how qualified she is. It was like it was oxymoron in a sense, and it was just like, I mean, like I said, was I surprised? No, it's just disheartening to have to see that. You know what I mean? Like we should get the best qualified people to do whatever position, and because you're Black, or because you're a woman, or because you're a Black woman, then you have to fight these hurdles just to get an opportunity to just, you know, do what you know, what you're passionate about, what you want to do, and what you're just great at. So yeah, I'm happy this happened, but just the whole pony show is kind of hard to kind of deal with.
It is.
Gotcha. Jamie, what about you?
I think it's monumental for us to, you know, even be in this day and age where we have a real Black person on the staff there. Because Clarence Thomas ain't Black, bro. I mean, mark my words. I mean, his wife is up with bullshit. She was in cahoots with all those Mark Meadows and those guys. So thankfully, we got Ketanji up there, the first Black person since Thurgood Marshall, and that says a lot. And she's overqualified for the job. She needs another job. She needs Chief Justice's job. He don't need that job. Give it to her because she's overqualified.
Right.
And it's like these people are less than questioning her, and it's embarrassing not to her, to them. Who are you to question this woman who's so qualified, overly qualified, which is it's a microcosm of life here in America with Black women. You got to be that qualified and still come up 53 to 40, whatever, 47.
I believe, yeah.
Like, really? Like, okay. But Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, who got in there, who was ran through there. I mean, the stuff is just, I mean, you know what, dog? A lot of stuff is happening. And a lot of stuff is happening at the same time I'm doing stuff. What I mean is I'm listening to the book Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, and it's whipping my ass to know all the stuff that we're going through is the same shit that's been going on for years. And it's like more the same, and it's still 2022, but hey man, we're still acting like it's 1920 out here. And this lady went to Harvard, graduated top of the class, then went to Harvard Law and was editor of the review. That person is untouchable. And then to go through all that stuff, it's embarrassing that we as Americans, if you call yourself an American, that you would question that person who has all of these qualifications. So it's like, okay, if we're going to continue to do this, this is what we end up with. Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh, when you got Ketanji Brown Jackson out here ready to do the job. So it's like, yay, but damn, bro, we still doing this dumb shit? The answer is yes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. So I'm gonna go before I let you go, Jermaine. Like I kind of felt like I was happy, you know, to see it, but it was kind of like what you said, like, damn, like we still gotta go through this. Like really, like it's not shocking or surprising, but it's like it's 2022, and like y'all still, y'all still doing this. You know what I mean? So I was happy, but I was really bothered, by what I saw. But I was more happy, for my girls to see something like that, because I'm constantly trying to, instill that in them, that you could do anything in this world that you want to do. You gotta put your mind to it. But the other part of that is it makes me a little sad, because I know they have to work extra hard, because not only are they girls becoming women, but they're Black women, going to be Black women. So I know they got to work extra hard. I'm constantly telling them that. And of course, right now, they don't really understand, like when we say that to them, that you got to be a step ahead and work extra hard. Yeah. But they're constantly hearing it, though. So at some point, it'll click and they'll understand what we mean. No matter how much we try to explain it to them, now they don't understand. But it's on every level, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even amongst us Blacks. Because I have an example. Like, it was an agency I was working for, and it was three of us that got promotions, right? For this agency I was working for. It was two Black females, and myself. We got promotions, and our education level was all the same. And they might have been at the job maybe a couple of months prior to me being there, right? Mm-hmm. So we got hired. I happened to be in the hiring manager's office, and I saw the offer letters on the desk. Yeah. Well, I was granted $5,000 more than what they were offered. They were offered the exact same pay, and I was offered $5,000 more than what they were offered.
Do they have children?
One did not have kids. One did have kids. I didn't have no kids at the time. Did I? Okay. No, I didn't have no kids at the time. So just seeing that, I didn't really get it at the time. I was like, oh, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm good. But I see that it was happening then too. You know what I'm saying? Because it was really no difference in us, but I was offered $5,000 more than those two Black women. So I think it happens on every level, no matter what. Black women, they get treated differently, and they do have to work extra hard. So I don't really think it, it matters where they are and what field. But I said I would say I was happy about, Justice Brown that day. So, Jermaine, what are your thoughts?
$5,000 to her.
Say what?
you said that extra $5K to her.
I sure was.
No, that's right.
At that time, but it just goes to show you how things are. Because I was really at the time. I was like, I don't understand why I'm. I didn't think about it too long, but as time went on, I'm just like, well, why I get more than what they got? And there was really no difference in our experiences, really. But I'm sure that's what it was, because they were Black women. I know that's what it was. Right. So, but go ahead, Jermaine. What was your thoughts on?
So my thoughts, so many different thoughts. Initially, I was like super emotional, right? Because I'm like, just thinking about personally, like all the things my sister's gone through with the level of government she's in, from State Department to Interior, and just like, that was a blanket moment for all Black women of color. So I was proud, but I was like, damn, like, what does it take? This woman is more qualified than any of the justices ever in history, right? In the history of the court. And if I'm not mistaken, she had more experience, so she has more experience than 4 of the sitting justices right now. Easy. Right? But here's what I want to say about stereotypes. It's stereotypes of Black women are perpetuated, like, from so many different angles, from media, from Hollywood to films, and like a lot of times we miss these perpetuations, but we internalize them. So historically, like, those stereotypes are rooted in society, right? Black women, think about a Black woman who's pregnant, who shows up at the hospital, automatically seen as a single mom type thing. So these things are embedded in society, right? But here's now I will say this. For me, Judge Brown is the new benchmark. Like, I have a lot of benchmarks. I have a lot of folks who I trail and I admire, but she's at the top of the list now. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. And I won't go on my soapbox. But the first thing is I was proud, but I was super emotional, right? George Floyd, Mike Brown, all these folks are playing in my head, and I'm like, damn. in order for black success, in order for the needle to move, like it has to be Black death. I'm linking all this to her success because I'm almost certain at some point she thought about all these things, and that's part of that whole.
Yeah. What she's thinking about him now? She didn't think about it.
Right. In terms of endure, but here's my point. So Black women being oppressed, belonging to more than one oppressed groups, Black women are a direct reminder of Black men. And that's part of the reason why Black women have it hard. The other thing is, you can only imagine being a Black woman. It's to me, it's the difference between stepping in the ring with both hands swinging free or stepping in the ring with one hand tied behind your back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think this, but more importantly, I want to say this. There's this word called allocated workload, which means that based upon your skin and your gender, you're going to be distributed more of the workload in your department, and you don't even know it. It's clandestinely done.
It's called allocated workload. Allocated workload.
Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of her while I'm watching this, and all this is playing through my head, man, and I was like mad emotional, right? Like mad emotional, but because I also thought about all the shit she had to endure, all the extra work that was thrown her way. She never complained. She never voiced it. She's a mom. Her daughter, the things we don't see. We don't see her family responding to her when she gets home. She even said it. I haven't mastered this, well, not verbatim, but she said, I hadn't mastered this parenting thing yet. Like, work has consumed us. And this is more important why I got emotional, right? And you all work in white space. I teach at a PWI. I'm in white space all the time. I'm the only Black professor in my department. So I understand what she's going through, but more importantly, the fight for women is and Black men, but for women, it's so damning that it alters their plans of having children. That's how powerful that shit is. I can't have kids right now because I got to work my ass off to get to the top tier. And if I have kids, it's going to take me away from this means of making a living for myself. Right? Mm-hmm. So, fellas, we got to keep in mind the forefront of our thoughts, man, because we do too. We got it hard out here, man. But our Black women, man, they endure a lot. And they're so strong. That goes back to the whole not going to the doctor thing, right? But that same strength is just embedded in their DNA. And I think she's an example of all Black women we know. And I'm super proud.
That's what's up.
Well said.
So, well said.
So speaking with that, and when we talk about, well, let me say this too. Let me end on this. So I think for me, this was maybe years ago. I had vowed to strengthen my relationships with my female friends. Slow down, man. Stop being so busy. You're traveling here, you're traveling there. And it's actually paid off, right? Those relationships paid off. All right, let's switch gears. Speaking of relationships, let's get into some good stuff. Let's talk about
a motherfucking segue.
Let's talk about some
segue. God, y'all. Get it, man.
Is y'all ready to talk about relationships?
That's a hell of a segue.
Let's go.
Some folks don't want to talk about relationships.
Mm-hmm. I get nervous. Yo.
Let's get it. All right, so listen. So there's this thing. Well, this is what just happened, right? You guys, the NFL, Russell Wilson, NFL quarterback. Some folks on the podcast said he was soft. He was corny. The same thing. He was corny, right? Comparing him to Future. Now this is super important. As a matter of fact, Jade, I'm gonna kick it to you first, but I do want to respond so I can get out of the way. But I guess the question is in relation to that whole Russell, comparing him to Future. I immediately think about freshman year at Central, right? Mm-hmm. I used to play Eagles and standing out there waiting, hunting. I was on the hunt with a spear, baby. I was like this with an African spear. Who gonna get it?
I had 2 spears.
Looking for that.
Jake with 2 spears. I had 1 spear. Paint on my face and everything. Here's my point.
Ready to go to war.
Ready, baby. Listen, but here's my point. My point is, I remember running into a lot of females who they didn't want that college persona, that guy. They wanted the guy coming through in the Benz and the guy on the motorcycle and this and that. right? They wanted what they perceived as, I guess, whatever, money or whatever. But I don't know, right? Them same chicks now, like, man, what's up? Like, no, I'm good. I'm all right.
Gucci, baby.
But here's my point.
Or they call you Jermaine? What they call you?
What, man, whatever. Whatever.
Professor Jones, could you? Nah, baby.
I'm good, yo. I'm chilling. Listen, here's my point, though. My point is, at what age or what point of our lives do we either relax our expectations of a person in a relationship, or do we just say, okay, you know what, let me take some things off the table, right? And also, I guess a part of the question is it about maturity, or is it more so about personal interest, right? In terms of like our expectations, or what we want out of a man or a woman, or just our personal interests. Like, at what age or stage of our lives do those things change, especially with the superficial things, right? Okay. So again, let me get out of the way, and then Jade, I'm gonna kick it to you. I'm not gonna talk long. For me, I can honestly say this. I think for me, and you guys know my background, the background that I come from, being around older folks, my perception of a woman was, for whatever reason, and you guys notice about me, I had a thing for light-skinned women and hair. Mm-hmm. That was the benchmark. We could work on everything else.
Oh, you forgot nice feet too. You love nice.
Yeah, I like nice feet and ass and all that too.
Go ahead, throw it in there.
We're gonna run Jade away. Listen. Here's my point. That was the benchmark. So coming out of my teens, going into the 20s, I was already conditioned. That's what I wanted. And then I'm gonna tell you guys something. This is important now for me. So I couldn't articulate it. Mid 20s, going into 30. I'm a sapiosexual. I couldn't articulate it. I know I had a tolerance for a chick who couldn't keep up in the conversation. Like, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't be around a person who just wasn't a forward thinker or didn't arouse me with intelligence, and not superficial intelligence, just being ambitious. So I think for me, it hit me around 25, 26. I couldn't articulate it, but I was put in a position to where I figured it out around 32. And I think around my early 30s, and right before I started leaving the country, is when I started saying, okay, you know what? She doesn't have to be, light skinned, maybe brown skinned, with long hair, whatever, short, brown, whatever. But my point is, in terms of the mental, I think around 32 is when I started to say, you know what? I have standards now, right? I'm not, and listen, I'm not taking these standards off the table. Some I may take off the table, but this particular standard here is not coming off the table. And I think it was important for me because actually it was a great filtering system, and it gave me a chance to look back and say, man, you was an asshole. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, a lot of folks won't do that. We don't self-reflect and call ourselves out. Yeah. But for me, that's when it happened. And there's some other things too, but for the sake of time, I won't get into. But primarily for me, that's one of the things that I placed, in the forefront, and it was superficial. So, Jay, what about you?
Your early 30s then, okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I will admit that I was one of those freshman central girls looking for the dude with the whip that could take me to Applebee's in the rib basket.
There you go.
Yeah. Rib basket.
But I feel like that was okay then, right? I was young.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So one thing that you said, Jermaine, I think our maturity level informs our personal interests, right? So I think as we get mature, we start changing what we really find to be important. And so I feel for me, it was probably around my late 20s, early 30s, because I began to value myself differently. Mm-hmm. Right. And so here I am, by my late 20s, I've already been a lawyer for a couple of years and things like that, and started looking at myself a little bit differently. Like, well, I think, you should value yourself for what you've accomplished, what you want in life. And so you need to take that and look at the men you're interested in that way. Also, I think, and this might kind of go back to like the Ciara and Russell Wilson, it was also a relationship that didn't work, right? That made me say, oh no, wait a minute, I can't do that anymore, because I was now valuing myself differently. And so all the material and the cars and things like that didn't matter anymore. It was really, what are your goals? Where are you at now? what is it that you're working towards? Because I was looking at myself in that same way. And so I guess I would say like late 20s, early 30s is really kind of around that time, because, you know, Jamie can tell you at one point I was proud to be a serial dater, right? I thought that was great. But then I had to like stop. Like, you can't keep doing like this. You know, you want more out of like, you want more for yourself. And so that's how I had to start viewing the men that I was, you know, allowing myself to spend time with.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Jamie, what about you, bro?
I'll say this. I always, well, since undergrad, I've always liked naturally pretty girls, but they had to be smarter than me. I knew that. I told y'all this over these podcast episodes. They had to be smarter than me. So that's always been a standard of mine. Pretty, smarter than me. And it got to me where your family mattered more than who you really were, because your family is who you are.
Right.
So I started dating families, like, oh, who's in your family? What's going on there? Because I want that to matter. And I made that change at about, I started dating Ann, and that was in 2010. But before that, I was dating Nakia, but she just moved to New York to go to, Philly to go to Temple for law school. So I started dating Ann. She was a dentist, and she had a great family, but she just decided otherwise because I wasn't serious like that. She was ready to go right now. And I'm like, hold up, I'm still trying to figure this business stuff out.
Right.
But that had to be around 30, if not 20, because I had about 30. Well, I started changing things like, hold on, I'm dating the family now and not the woman. It's the whole person, not just her. She can certainly have who she is, but it's all about those things that come around that person who are going to poke into our family. I was dating my first fiance, and she has a brother, and he kept having children. I'm like, that's not good.
Random women or just what, the same woman?
No, he had a wife. God bless him, but he kept having too many kids too fast. I'm like, oh, he had 2 kids in 1 year. I said, no, that's not good for us.
Irish twins.
We're the rich part of the family now. We rich. So guess what? Uncle Jamie, Ken I, oh, you got these goddamn kids over here. That matters to me. I don't want that shit around me, man. So I was like, you know what? I can't break up with her. I don't have an issue with that because the family's getting weird.
Right.
It's not just him, it was all the other things. But I started really stopping and thinking, what am I doing?
Right.
Well, you need to look at her family too, because that matters.
Was he not taking care of the kids? What was?
Listen, he was just having too many kids too fucking soon, Jade. I didn't like it. Because it was cute. First they had a baby, because his wife had a child over, she had a boy. Then they had a little girl, so we went up there to see the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Another one just after that. And it's like, damn, we gotta go back to the hospital again. And then they had another one.
Too many kids in a short span of time.
Right. Like, oh,
but they're married.
Man, yeah. They in the church, all that shit, but it was too many. It was too many for me. Fucking red flag, man. So guess what? He died. Who's in charge now? Uncle Jamie. Now I'm stuck with your kids. I care about my time.
Wow.
Not that I broke up with her for that, but it was like that's another one of those reasons. I'm like, fuck all that. I'm not trying to be a part of that, dog. Yeah, way too many fucking kids. Way too many.
You bailed out on a baby.
Like, we didn't even have a chance to have no goddamn kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's crazy, fam. That's crazy. Kashara, what are you thinking?
Well, for me, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, I don't say I hate it, but it kind of, I feel like such a virgin when y'all talk about these dating scenarios, because y'all know I got married so early. So it's kind of hard for me to articulate some of the questions sometimes. But what I will say is that I was superficial too, in a way, like early on, I would say like high school through like early college. Like it was all about hair. Like whoever I'm with, she gotta have some hair. Like it gotta be long. Down her back. Like it was about hair. So I was very like
the hair foreplay, yo.
In that aspect of things. However, being that I was kind of like, a little ahead of my time, I knew what I wanted. Like I knew I wanted like someone who was about family, like Jamie said, and I wanted someone who I felt like I could connect with. So those things were kind of important to me, I guess, because I felt like I never really had it. So those, I knew that's what I wanted, you know. Right. So I kind of, that's where my mindset was. So that's why, I kind of just led the path that I did lead. Now, don't get me wrong, and my wife knows this now. Like, I dipped and dabbled in, a few things, but I knew that's all it was. It was just, it was just that.
Dipped and dabbled.
It was just that. I knew it wasn't going nowhere else. Like, that was my mindset. That this is all you are for me. It doesn't matter because I already know who I want. So that's it. So I think that's
contracted employee.
Like, that's superficial too, So I had to get to a point where I was kind of like, all right, I need to stop this and focus on who I want. So for me, I would definitely say, like, I guess at 25, like, things started to shift for me. But what I can say though, like, for people around me, for my family and also friends, like, I could tell when things shifted for y'all. People I was close with, I could tell when the shift started for you guys. So, I think for a lot of people, I can say a lot of people, I can say people I know, I think the shift started around like 30, like late 20s, like 30s, when you start to see the shift where you can tell, okay, this person's looking for something with a little bit more substance versus just the booty, because you can get the booty anywhere, you know what I mean? But
you can pay
for something long term, right? So, so yeah, so that's what I would say.
Right.
The shift in me?
Huh?
I said, Jamie, did you notice a shift in me around?
Hell nah, Jade. Jade has yet to pick a quality boyfriend in my
That doesn't mean that I haven't changed my belief.
My friend sucks at picking boyfriends. I'm like, nigga, him? Me and Phil Terry be like, him? Jade be like, but I love him.
Yeah. I think I want to start with first, just even with the Russell Wilson and the future thing. And there's two sides to it. A lot of people feel, well, one, I have a problem with the whole thing, how they saying that Russell Wilson is corny, and because I guess he don't act a certain way, I guess.
Right.
Or like, I don't know how the people know what this man does in his private line or with, in his personal time, but based on how he carries himself, I don't understand why that's even an issue for somebody, whatever, because he doesn't behave, quote unquote, like what a rapper should act like. And this same rapper he's
a professional athlete.
He carries to take care of his body. He seemed like he, saying as a family man, he takes in Future's child. Some people have an issue with that, and I guess some people feel like, okay, this person's not really a biological, but Future have kids with everybody. So to me, I think that's like one of the most, not hardest thing, but one of the things that people should get praised for when you have a person who's playing that stepfather role and has love that child that by not there to love like their own. Like, I think, like, we need to give like the stepmothers, the stepfathers, a lot more credit than what we do in regards of, taking care of somebody else, kid that was not biologically theirs. And so for this man to go ahead and do that, and and it still become corny because of that, I don't really understand that.
But Kwame, let me just say one thing too. I think the folks who said that, like, we gotta ask, what is their perception of authentic Black folks, and what does corny mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does stand up mean? What does 10 toes down mean? I think some folks are so conditioned to buy into buffoonery. If you ain't out here clowning, smoking on Instagram and doing all that, you're corny, right? The rules and regulations have been rewritten of what a stand-up man is, and I think that's effed up.
It's freaking crazy, and I agree with you 100%. And that's what it is. So if somebody's doing right, that makes them corny. But if this guy if he wasn't halfway seeing his kid and not being involved, then that's okay. I don't get that. But
that's
I guess, but I guess for me personally, I think it's one of the things where, like I said, you have to learn to grow. Like I think y'all said before, a lot of it's a maturity, a lot of it's experiences, your own personal experience and stuff, and what you value in your life. As far as what I value at 20 something is different than 20 something.
Right.
40. Yeah, I can admit, like, I freaking hung around probably not some good situation with some females just because she had a fat butt. You know what I'm saying? And everything else like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I do a lot of freaking nonsense just because of that. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. But that's being young. But at that time, I'm probably not really thinking long term either. You know what I mean? I'm thinking in the moment, I like her, she's cool, we're fun. But I dealt with a lot of headaches. You know what I mean? So I think with me, I think for me, when I got a little bit older, I'm like, yeah, I just don't. And I say older, I say maybe. I thought I kind of did it kind of late, not even early 30s, but like in terms of maybe even late 30s. But I just wanted, I just wanted some peace. Like I want somebody where I can connect with. You know what I'm saying? If we disagree, we can learn how to disagree in an amicable way where it's not like this whole ghetto type, you know, this crazy mess. You know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't want all that. You know what I mean? So I like, you know, you might not get everything you want, but you have to what you value, what's going to bring you, you know, quality of life a whole lot better, and hopefully you can return that, you know, the same way to the person you with. So I think that maturity happened with me. Well, some things I didn't like in the early 30s, but I think fully until my late 30s when I really kind of like, yeah, okay, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I value. So,
and this is what, these are non-negotiables.
Right. Yeah. And it goes to experience too. Like you want somebody like-minded as well too. Like somebody who, like you said, you can't even go to a certain event because this person's not going to feel comfortable going there.
Yeah.
Babysit and making sure they feel included. Like I wouldn't want to deal with that. I don't care how good you look or how, you know, because after a while that's gonna get old. You want somebody who can play yourself and can work different type of rooms and you know, and they you know they good in every, you know, most environments, you know, so that's down to earth, but also can switch up and know what to do. So those are things that I learned that I value as I got older.
And that piece is what you said about peace is super valid, man. It's nothing like a peace. No.
Yeah, you see some people looking like they 30-something, looking like 50-something years old. They going through some stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
or they don't want cosmic, one of the two, but it's not happening right.
Man,
I'm telling you, man. But just to kind of like switch gears.
Hold on, real second. I want to do something with y'all real quick before we move on to your topic. Real quick. I want to do like a who'd you rather, since we're talking about this, since we're comparing people. So Jade, who'd you rather? I wrote it down. Where is it? Oh, Drake or Wayne? Drake or
Drake.
Okay. Jamie, who'd you rather? Jill Scott or Queen Latifah?
Jill Scott. I sing both their titties. I like Jill's better.
I know. That's why I chose them, because I know you like big titties.
But also, Jill might like you back. You know.
Right. I do want her to like me back too, Charlotte. Queen Latifah, me and her got on the same drawers and shit.
Same sweat socks.
Jermaine, who'd you rather, Lisa Ray or Remy Ma?
Sanaa Lathan.
That's right. Club thumbs, baby. Club thumbs and all, baby.
All that. Thumbs and everything. All that. Sanaa Lathan.
I Googled that after y'all said it.
You saw him too, right?
All that. Thumbs and everything.
All right, Kwame last. Who would you rather, A. Marie or Meg Thee Stallion?
Oh, that's easy. Anne Marie all day.
Hold up, dog. I got to think about that one now. Hold on.
No.
Or Meg Thee Stallion.
The Meg Thee Stallion was okay, but
Ishara, I can't believe you gave me Wayne as.
That's he gave me Queen Latifah.
You that easy.
I was trying to do something like complete opposite almost. With you.
Queen Latifah and Jill Scott, certainly opposite.
Okay, we got to give you one, Kasharo. Brandy or Monica?
Monica, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think Monica has just enough like girliness with her, but she got like that hood. She don't take no mess either. And I kind of like a little fancy chick.
Like a little
I like mine to be a little. I love mine a little bit soft.
A little more cuddly.
All right, come on, go ahead.
Yeah, switching gears. Where I was, I don't know what made me think this, but I was thinking about a time where I had one to ask. Have y'all ever been robbed or stolen from? Like somebody stole something from you, or just like robbed you, or broke into your car or anything?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jay, I'll start with you to guess. Like, do you have any experiences with it?
No, I don't want to jinx myself. No.
No one broke into your locker in high school or nothing like that, or
No, when I was 5, someone stole my big wheel off the sidewalk.
They probably pushed that shit in the trash. They pushed that shit.
that's just in the bushes somewhere.
Yeah, get shit out of the way.
Right.
I was at my fault that somebody stole the big wheel off the sidewalk, but
They kicked that shit off the sidewalk. They
No one ran to your dorm room and stole none of your stuff out your dorm.
No, don't jinx me. No.
Well, you have been blessed.
I have been blessed.
Yeah.
I feel bad you don't have a story.
good. I feel good that she don't have a story. Good for you.
That's good that she don't have a story. Yeah, that's
Yay! Like what the fuck? I don't want the story that I got.
Oh, there's some war stories right here.
Nigga. Man.
So, Jermaine, what about you, man?
Unfortunately, yes. What pops in my mind, my freshman year at North Carolina Central.
Talk about it. I knew you was gonna say it. Go ahead. Yep. I was there.
I had some, I don't even know what possessed me to put them shits in. I had some brand new red, white, and gray 95 Air Max.
95, yes. Air Max 1.
I left from Maine and walked downstairs and put them Jones in the washing machine. I swear, the cycle wasn't even finished yet. I came back, them shits was gone. I'm talking about soaking wet. They took my shoes out of the soapy water and stole them shits.
They watched them go in with them, and they left out with them.
Like,
Guess what I did? I went and bought a new pair the next week.
But did you ever see the
How
person?
mad was you when it
Did you
happened?
feel like you ever saw him?
I was mad as shit. Listen, everybody was a suspect. I was looking at Jamie. I was looking at everybody. Everybody was a suspect. Nigga,
I was mad with you, dog. I'm like, who the fuck would steal your shoes?
wet, like soaking wet, like soaking wet, like somebody. But listen, but you know what? And I should have known better, especially the environment I was coming from. But it taught me a lot in that moment. A, never wash in there again. B, that's the environment we in. You know what I'm saying? These folks are coming from, and have come from all over. So, but yeah, I was mad, man. I was mad. They stole my Nikes, man. It wasn't about the shoes. It was more so like, where the fuck were you at? Like, I didn't even see you when I came in here. Like, how did you do it? Like, But Jamie, remember, I was mad. Listen, I couldn't even sleep well. So, yeah. That's what happened to me, man.
It's the ultimate violation. You stole my sneakers out the washing machine?
Sneakers?
Man.
What about you, man?
Huh? Yeah, Jade, listen. Yes, I was on it, Jade. I was on it.
We're all looking at it.
I was on it.
Size 9, right?
Size 8. I was size 8. Yeah.
Look at people with size 8, so all in the calf and shit.
Yeah, honestly. Jay, ready to get busy. Ready to pick it up.
Was ready. They done sold them shit as soon as they got them.
Yeah, that's what happened. They probably did, because I never saw them. Yeah.
Jamie, about you, man?
So freshman year, I had my identity stolen by my roommate.
I remember.
So, which goes into the story of how I ended up with a Q dog for a roommate, because my first roommate was a freshman like me. His name was Luther. He was from Charlotte, and he would call his mother every day. And he stole my identity and put it in a calling card. Luther would call his mama every day. He could call her and not even look at the numbers. He would do this on the phone. So imagine it's the 1-800 number, because we went to school in 95. Then the mother's number. Hello. He was gay. He was a singing major. Hello. Yeah, we just chilling. So I had my identity stole freshman year, and the dorm lady, the lady from the student life, residential life, is like, you come to the office. She said, you are not from Charlotte, I'm like, no, I'm from Red Springs. She said, well, you have a bill in your name, and she just showed me pages and pages and pages and pages.
Wow. Right.
He called her, and one day she showed me, he called his mama 25 times. This is before you could call somebody for free, just to go back to that. And you had to dial in all of those numbers. And I saw the boy call his mom that many. with all those digits without even looking at the fucking phone. I'm none the wiser. I'm so fucking doe-eyed and naive. I don't know what's going on. Why would I know that? So as soon as I got back to the dorm, he had already moved out. Basically, they took me out of the room so he could move out, and he disappeared. I never saw Luther again.
Wow.
Luther,
So
this podcast, we gonna hunt you down, nigga.
for real, Luther. I forgot his last name, but Luther was a big black nigga from Charlotte, and he tried to look like Luther Vandross. He had brown contacts. And he was cool. He was cool with the Charlotte niggas. So they got me out of the room and told me what happened. So by the time I got back to the room was empty on his side of the room. So I was in that room by myself for 2 weeks, and then I had to bring in my roommate Kevin Carpenter, who was an old ass man, root to the Q.
Grown ass man.
Yeah. He was 24. We was 18, and that's the story. I got my identity stolen my freshman year, like the first week there.
That sucks, man.
That's crazy. Welcome to NCCU.
Welcome to the hood.
Kishar, about you, man.
Well, I have two actually, but since we on the NCCU robbings or stealings, actually,
baby,
one of Jamie's old roommates. I'm not gonna say no names, but like we talking about the phone calls. My mom had bought me this calling card. And she was paying for. I don't know how back in the day how they was paying for it through the phone bill or whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
she had a call. She gave me a calling card to use in school, and one of Jamie's roommates.
Can I guess?
Had an emergency and needed to use my phone. You need my card, so I let him use the card, thinking, all right, cool. You helping your brother out, whatever. That's the end of it.
Well, I already know who it is.
My mom ended up calling me. She ended up calling me saying, "Who are these people you keep calling like this? You ran my phone bill up." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So she was like, I called the number, and she was like, you need to tell me who these numbers are. But it took me the longest to figure out who was making those phone calls. But somehow we ended up telling it back to that person because the numbers were the same.
Why are you being a secret about it? It's fucking Trey, ain't it? Nigga. You did that shit. I don't remember this.
I think it was him. I think it was him.
It had to be Trey. Only his ass would do that shit. I got a whole other story about that nigga. That nigga's a nigga.
Was that him for real though?
Yeah, it was him. It couldn't be nobody else.
Oh,
I only had one roommate. It wasn't Kevin. Kevin wasn't gonna do that shit. And Trey was around the corner. Remember, we was all on the same floor.
We was all on the same floor. Yep, on the floor.
I was right around the corner.
Yes,
it had to be Trey. That's the only reason. Yeah. I was my own roommate my sophomore year. Then I was roommates with him my junior
year.
Yeah. Fuck that.
So that was one.
Sound like some shit Trey would do. Sound like some shit.
Well, how you figure out it was him though?
To the date that he borrowed the card.
Oh, he borrowed the card.
The number is matched up from that date.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that borrowing part.
Where is he at now?
He's in Durham.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in Durham.
Yeah. So that was one, but then the other one was in DC. In DC, my car got broken into at work. Yeah, they broke the window and like attempted to steal the car, but you could see that somebody like rummaging through stuff.
Yeah,
looking for stuff. So you could tell they was rummaging through like the glove compartment trying to find something.
Like January 6th, they was down on the floor looking for some shit. It's got to be something in here.
Yeah, so that kind of like messed me up.
Right.
But yeah, outside of that,
how long were you in DC before this happened?
A good little minute. I mean, it's been a minute. I was like, it had to be over.
So you was like,
over
this
10
is
years.
I'm officially.
It was over 10 years because Addison was born. She was She was like 2, maybe she was 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
So my real quick one, like I said, it was a car broken into in DC as well. And on that's memorable because it's funny because it was like my first like date with my my wife, and it was on my Founders Day. And so it was January 9th, 2015. We went on a little lunch date, and so we went to some little tire spot, and I came back, and I had like a bag, but I had it in my car, but I had it on the floor, and I had tinted windows. So I'm thinking like you had to actually look into my car to really see what's going on. If you was walking by, you can't see it. And basically somebody had broke in that day when I come out of my car from the day. Oh, it's a good day. Coming back, my windows all busted. January sometime. I had a freaking drive from DC to at the time I lived in Columbia to Columbia. The cold wind was blowing in my mouth. I was pissed off.
Disgusted.
Yeah. I ain't gonna forget that day because, like I said, that was one Founders Day, my first day with my wife. But the main thing that kind of got to me one time was when when I first moved, maybe the first year or two, I moved to the DMV area, and I was living in Laurel. I'm sorry, and I was staying in some apartments that they definitely were no luxury apartments. So I'm kind of still contractor and stuff and trying to make my way. And just to give you, I ain't say it's the hood, but it's definitely what, like I said, it definitely wasn't where I would stay at now. Like for example, like somebody actually broke somebody's car out there, and the damn freaking guy came out the damn apartment and shot the damn dudes, right in front of the joint. Now, I don't think they died, but he shot them right for breaking in their car. And I used to live like by like this was it like train tracks. I swear, when that train came by, it felt like the train was coming through my living room type of train. Like if I was on the phone, I got to hold on. Train.
Wow.
Crazy. This is all you need to see. You say you live by the train track.
Man. So I said all to say, like I had these guys who probably were staying across the hallway from me. And I think one of the dudes didn't work, whatever. So apparently they must have been kind of watching me coming and going. I still have no proof, but I feel pretty sure who I know broke into my crib. And you never got your crib broken into. That's like the biggest violation and the most that you could ever experience almost. It was funny because actually I went to work late that day and came back home early that day. And so I was on the first floor, but not like, it's not ground level. You had to climb up to be able to get there. But it was easy to do if you really wanted to do it. And I had left, like you have like the additional bar in your little slide in, I guess patio or whatever and stuff. I must have left the bar open, but the door was locked. So when I was coming back from home from work, I was about to put the key in and the door opened up. I'm like, what the hell going on? So I'm still kind of like trying to figure out what's going. Like it was almost like an outer body.
Don't lock the door. Yeah.
It looked like it was closed. And then I walked in the apartment. I see this is probably like 2005, 4, like that. So, player was unplugged. I'm like, well, damn, I know I ain't put no DVD player. As soon as I was walking back to the apartment, I went back in my room. I'm seeing like my bedspread and my sheets all rumbled up. And this during the time, like I said, I had all my jerseys. People was wearing jerseys at that time.
Yes, it was.
Before Jay-Z said we had to wear buttons. So before that time, whatever jewelry I had, that was missing. Whatever PlayStation I had, I don't know if it was a 3 or 2, whatever it was at the time, it was gone. And, all that stuff was gone to the point where I freaking opened my refrigerator and my freezer. They stole meat. They stole food. They stole all kind of food out of my fridge, every damn thing. So
that's crazy.
Them niggas took their time. Say, let's check this fridge out.
Well, I mean, it was freaking crazy, yo. To the point
premium choice select cuts.
And then it's like I had like anything that
meat man
dump out because I don't know if they freaking pissed in any damn thing. Like it was just throwing all that stuff out because I didn't know what's going on. Call the cops. They didn't give a damn at all. They were just like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, we could do.
Yeah. We took some little fingerprints on the door, see what we're gonna do, but you can tell they was very not even interested. They didn't even fake it though. They didn't even act like they didn't care. So
that's crazy.
Because I could tell how the guy was looking like interact, like he was kind of like he was checking me out to try and see how I act,
right?
Proof, whatever. So, like I said, somebody actually get in your personal space where you actually live and sleep and you eat, and they go in. I mean, that's like the biggest violation. Like that was way worse than my car getting broken into. At least you don't know where I live at that point. But yeah, that was
you know where I stay at. So I'm in here now, ready to kill somebody over this shit.
Right, yeah. I mean, I got saying some more of those growing pains, man. Niggas like, welcome to the DMV, boy, because man. Yeah, man. But that was pretty much it, man. But Jamie, about you, man. So.
Okay, all right. It's time for our dose of dopeness, and of course, we've selected none other than our very own Miss Jade Fuller Esquire. She's running for Miss NCCU Alumni 2022. And I think you got what, three candidates, three of you guys running,
4.
and 4.
Mhm.
What the
None of
hell?
those. Okay.
Okay, so Jay will be representing the Metro DC alumni chapter, and they have officially endorsed her. So we are on a roll. We're gonna give Jay the floor to tell us more about her platform
Right.
and how you can get in touch and to donate to her campaign.
Yes, thank you so much. So, for those who don't know, the Miss NCCU Alumni campaign is a fundraising campaign where the winner is crowned by whoever raises the most money for scholarships. All money that is raised goes towards the NCCU Alumni Association Scholarship Program. The reason why this is really important for me is because it's really a full circle moment for me. I went to NCCU on an academic alumni scholarship. That is what made my college education possible. I always knew I wanted to go to an HBCU, and my parents were like, great, sure, but how are we going to pay for it? And so when I applied to NCCU and got the full scholarship, the decision was made right there. I literally remember my father pulling out a map and going, he took his finger down from New York. He was like, okay, straight down 95. Okay, we can get you to Durham. We can do that. Because there was no more discussion after that.
We'll get you to Durham.
Yeah, we can get you to Durham. I mean, he literally was like, okay, we can get you to Durham. That's fine. They want to.
Do you have any connections to Central at that time?
I did not have any connections to Central. I did not have any family in the area. Central wasn't even on my radar as an HBCU. Obviously, being in New York, I knew the big ones, the Howard, the Spelmans, the Hampton. I really wanted to go to Hampton because to me, Hampton was like Hillman from watching A Different World. And I wanted to go to Hillman. I was like, well, Hampton, Virginia, that's where I'm going. Yeah. But when I went on the college tour, that the Alphas in Long Island did, it was a week-long tour. We ended up at Central. I didn't know anything about Central, but it was Miss Nancy Rowland.
She brought us all in, all of us.
Yeah, Hammers.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew right then. I said, I'm gonna go here. And there were some Central alum that were Alphas on the tour. And so in talking to them, and they were like, well, you're a great student. We're going to connect you with the Alumni Association so you can apply. And I applied and I got the scholarship. And I remember not really understanding what an Alumni Association was, but just knowing it was this group of people that looked at this application of mine and wanted me to come to their school. And so that is how I got to Central. And so for me, this is truly full circle because I'm raising funds for the next Jade who wants to go to an HBCU.
Right.
Parents are like, yeah, we want you to go, but how are you going to pay for it? And
take the map out. Take the phone out. Take the phone out and go. Well, about 12 hours.
How do we get you to Durham? And so I appreciate any support, any and all support. No donation is too small. All of it will go straight to the alumni scholarship for the foundation, for the NCCU Foundation. You can find more information about me at jadefuller.com. No spaces or anything, just jadefuller.com. Be able to read a little bit about my bio, what I'm doing, the Metro DC chapter, and ways to donate. So I truly appreciate this.
Is there a time period for the donations have to be in by?
To October.
To October, okay.
The beginning of October, yeah.
Gotcha. And then they let us know.
Time for homecoming.
In time for
So when is the last day? Just so we have.
The last day, the absolute last day is October 15th.
There we go. So we got a number.
Online donation.
We don't want y'all to wait till the 15th.
Right.
Chip in right now.
And let's be clear that one, you do not have to have attended an HBCU. You do not have to want to go to HBCU. Anyone can donate to this cause, correct?
Correct.
Because it's going to scholarships.
Going to scholarships. So if you just want to be able to help support the next young person that wants to go to school, help them get there, I mean, it really does mean a lot, and you really will be able to make a difference. So there were people who donated that made my scholarship possible.
Right.
Yeah, I like the full circle moment too. That really puts it in perspective, like what is for and how they really help you. Like I said, on your path. So that's definitely a good thing.
We definitely appreciate you, Jade. Like, coming on and kicking it with us, and we appreciate what you're doing. Running for Miss NCCU, and gaining money for the next young person to be able to go to school. So we'll definitely make sure that we put the information out there for you. So people can know where to donate, when to donate, how to donate, and all that good stuff. So we definitely thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you all having me because I feel like a fan. You know, I've been listening to the podcast. I'm a fan of all of you, and so I'm just really excited that I was able to be here with you all.
You know what? Too, even
did
put this
well.
information up, like information, we can probably do it sometime in the, whenever the episode air. At that time, I think also too closer to maybe like the deadline part too. We may need to put information again just for people trying to do.
So do it again past the summer.
Right.
Yeah. So we can, so people who wants to donate or whatever, it can be reminded of that well. So I don't know if you can like remind Kashara or Jamie or something.
We could put her bio up on in one of the commercials at the top of the episode. That'll be dope too.
Okay.
Like one of the businesses that we have. We could donate that to Jade.
And I'm having fundraising events. I got a virtual silent auction going on now. A lot of dope donors. Jamie Patterson and Subject to Change being one of them, where people, and you don't have to go to HBCU or NCCU in order to participate in the auction. You can go online and bid on some really great services. We've got photo sessions. We've got apparel, luxury candles, yoga sessions, all that kind of stuff.
Who making them candles?
It's Vice by Vice, Worry Vice.
Right, the one and only.
Yeah.
The LB, tell him, Kasharo, the LB's donating candles. I think he's on number 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He's up there.
New scent. He has a spray now. He has a spray now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I'm glad we all able to help and each other and stuff, and that's what it's all about anyway. So
well, Jade, like I said, we're gonna make sure we put that information up for you. So no worries there. We got you, sis. We got you.
Hey, appreciate you for real, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
So we thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Hope you continue to check us out and support 4x Dope. You can catch us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at 4x Dope Podcast. You can also hit us up with comments or suggestions or feedback at 4xdopepodcast@gmail.com. And please, please, please do not forget our merchandise. Our 4x Dope merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts. You can make those purchases at www.shops2c.com by our very own Jamie Lamont Patterson, Mr. Stedman himself. And until the next time, we out.